Hey everybody, what's up? Rob here. Today is, gosh, I don't even know what today is. It's Saturday, March 21st, maybe? I don't know, don't quote me on that. Anyway, I'm here at home, I'm at the crib, doing my self-quarantine. I actually got back to Baltimore the night before last, early. I think it was about 1:30 a.m. when I got in. And got up yesterday morning and I decided I was going to go into the office because the City Fam offices where they're located at the ETC is closed, and I thought, well, nobody will be there. And actually they didn't really even tell me that I had to self-quarantine when I got off the plane to enter the States. They said, try to self-quarantine for 2 weeks, basically just stay away from old people. That's what they kind of told me. So I was like, well, if it's not mandatory, I'm going to go into the office. Plus the ETC was closed yesterday. So I went in, and a couple of the people that work there happened to show up and they said, hey, don't come near us, but we'd feel really comfortable if you just went home for 2 weeks because you were in Europe and there's a higher concentration of people that are infected there. So I said, okay, no problem. And basically packed up, took Nicole to the airport, and then I came here where I've been working ever since. So I'm on lockdown for 2 weeks. I'm just kind of working. I brought my computer back to the house, and I've just been working here, which is cool. I'm getting just as much done here as I would in the office. I'm kind of an introvert. I'm learning about myself in my old age. I actually like being alone a lot. So anyway, it's good though. Grateful to be back in the States. Grateful to have all the luxuries that you take for granted when you're in a foreign country or you're just not staying in your own home. So it's been really good to be back. But wanted to make a vlog today. Wanted to catch people up, I guess, a little bit, but this one's going to be a little bit different because I wanted to talk about something that I've never really talked about on camera before. So I really just kind of want to get it out there. I want to document it. So 20 years ago, when I became a believer, it was actually March 21st of the year 2000. So it was almost 20 years to the day. I just realized that, of when I became a Christian. I was in Cancun, Mexico for spring break, partying with my friends, and I got baptized in the Holy Spirit. For those of you that don't know what that means, no worries. I didn't know what it meant either when it happened to me. I didn't even know that God was real actually when it happened to me, but I got like immersed in the presence or whatever with God. All of a sudden I became really aware that God was real and that he had a plan for my life. Anyway, over the next few days to 2 weeks, he started telling me some things. I prophesied. I didn't even know what this was. I didn't know what prophecy was, but God started telling me things about the future. Okay, and I've told a lot of people about them back then and even ever since, but I never actually recorded them. I never put them on, video or on social media. So I want to talk a little bit about them today. The two things that I want to talk about, and they're not pleasant. I'm going to tell you that up front. They're a little scary, actually. Two things that he told me about that I'm 100% sure are going to happen is he told me in the year 2000, 20 years ago, that there was going to be a global depression. And the second thing that he told me was that the United States and China are going to go to war with each other. Yeah, I know how that probably hits you. It's scary, right? And like I said, I've told hundreds of people about this ever since I knew. People that were close to me, like Brian Kuhn, Steve Kopp, Donnie Funkhauser, Eric Miller, Bill Young, all those people, and everyone around me that was close to me, I told about these things because, again, I'm 100% sure that they happened because I know that is what that God told me. I was actually just watching a press conference with Donald Trump, and he was talking about this coronavirus, and he was talking about how, I'm friends with the Chinese president and they're great people and all this other stuff. And I'm like, listen, as much as I want to tell you that we bounce back from this, whatever we're going into with this whole, I didn't know what was going to set us off. I'm not an economist. I didn't even watch the news 20 years ago. But I'm guessing that this coronavirus is going to be the thing that leads us into this global depression and possibly this war with China. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. The reason that I've never talked about this stuff on video is because it's not my personality to do it. I like to, be the good like the throw parties and make people feel good and show them a good time. And I never wanted to be like a doom and gloom guy, like the sky is falling kind of thing. So I just never talked about them. But like I said, I've told hundreds of people about it over the last 20 years, and now I'm just putting it on video because I'm 100% sure that it happens. And if there's anything that y'all can do to prepare yourself for this, I would suggest doing it. If that means like not keeping large sums of cash, like maybe investing them in things that'll be safer if there's a severe economic downturn, or, you know, even more importantly than just preparing yourself financially, it's about building community. Like, that is what made the biggest difference for me. That is why I'm so passionate about community, because when the shit hits the fan, which it's going to hit the fan, we'll survive if we're together. Okay? You won't be able to survive if you're not together with community, you know, which is why, again, everything that I do my whole life, whether it's City Fam or Why Waiting Works or a Genuine concert, you know, or whatever it is, I'm always trying to bring people together and then keep them together, right? Which is why I talk about everything that I do. I talk about volunteering, because like if you're going to be in community, if we were going to like try to, you know, form some kind of unit that could survive through some shit, like I have to be looking out for your best interest, and I have to know that you're looking out for my best interest. I can't use you. I can't like take your food. I can't go sleep with this girl and take her sex without commitment, and then guess what? There's hurt feelings and she's gone and we're not friends. It divides people. So like, why I say all this to say is, look, as these things happen, and look, even if I'm wrong, what the word says, the Bible says, not being religious, I'm not religious, right? This is just reality. Some of this shit is just like gravity. The word says that these are the beginnings of birth pains. So if you look at things that are happening in the world, like this pestilence, like the locusts in Africa, like the whole country of Australia being on fire, this is like all talked about in the Bible, and it says that these things are going to happen with more intensity and more frequency as we go toward the end. So as much as I'd like to say that this is, you know, the last of it and everything's going to get better, it's probably not getting better. Even if I'm wrong, the word tells us that things aren't going to get better. They're going to get worse, and it's going to become worse and worse as we near the end. So you're going to need to be around some good people. Again, not being religious. Even if you don't believe in God, just be around good people. And in order to be around good people, you have to be a good person, because good people ain't going to tolerate a greedy person for long, or an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be someone that adds value to other people's lives. So, you know, I talk about, when I talk in these schools, sometimes I talk to kids and I talk to them about community, and I'm like, look, how many people out there have seen National Geographic? And most of them raise their hand. And I'm like, look, when a lion comes and attacks some animals, the one that always gets eaten is the one that breaks off from the herd. Like, if you stick together, you're safe. And that's what it's going to be like. Not just with like people, you know, because you very easily could get attacked, or maybe you get sick and then all of a sudden there's nobody around to help you because you didn't have a community. But also the devil. You know, the devil's real, and he attacks people, and he beats them up, gets them depressed, gets them hooked on drugs, gets them whatever, doing things that they shouldn't be doing, so that he can destroy their life when they don't have community. So your goal is to build community, whatever that looks like for you. You know, for me, it's City Fam and Epic Church. So if you can find a great church that you love, if you want a social life, come out to City Fam. If you want to volunteer, you can get involved with City Fam. But either way, you got to form community. So, yeah, mostly I wanted to say all that just because I've known it. I've known it for 20 years. I'm 100% sure those things happen. It's not a question of if. Like, I'm 100% sure that God told me they happen. He didn't say when. You know, he didn't say how. I didn't know how. I thought they were going to happen 20 years ago, to be honest, when he told me. But now I see everything that's going on right now, and I'm like, how many more weeks can we survive of this, where everything's shut down, where people ain't working, before everything gets thrown into a tailspin? I don't know. Again, I'm not an economist, but I'm telling you 100% that it happens. So if I were you, I would try to prepare financially, but more importantly, I would try to build some kind of community as best you can. And that, again, how to do that is add value to other people's lives. Recently, I had a leader with City Fam step down, and they were critical a little bit of me and Nicole, because, well, they said that we didn't give them the support that they need it. And, I take ownership for that, because here I am, I'm super passionate about what we're doing, because what we're doing is about people, and there's nothing more important than people. I've seen CityFam impact people's lives in a way that is just miraculous. Like their whole life changes because they get into a group of healthy people. So I'm going after it really hard, and sometimes maybe I'm going after it too hard, that I neglect the things that I already have in my hand while I'm trying to reach out and bring more people in. But I never apologize. I'll never apologize to people for working so hard. I might not always be working on the right things. I might not do everything right, but I'm not going to apologize for pushing other people or myself as hard as I do, because there's nothing more important than what we're doing. Nothing's more important than people. And my thought is one day everything that I told you, and a lot more probably that I don't know, is going to happen. The shit is going to hit the fan. And I feel like what God's put on the call he's put on my life is to bring people together as much as possible, because that's where they can make it. That's where they can survive the shit that's about to happen. So, yeah. Which is why I work as hard as I do. Which is why I live the way that I do. Meaning on very little money, because I don't want to trade my time for money, because I see people worried about dumb shit, worried about money, worried about their 401k or whatever. Like, I'm telling you that a time is coming, and it's probably not too far off, where none of that shit is going to matter. It's not going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is how many people you've impacted between now and then. That's the only thing. You won't have any regret if you take your eyes off of things, material possessions, and you put them on other people right now, and you spend your life doing that. I promise you, when you get to the end, you will have no regret. The people that will regret it are going to be the people that chase money, because I'm telling you, it's all going away, and it's not that far away before all that shit happens. So with all that being said, we did a virtual boot camp today on the CityFam group page, which was cool. We're trying to find innovative ways to give people that communal feeling while we can't be together. I think we're going to be doing a lot more of those. So if you get a chance, go over to the CityFam group page, request to join, we'll add you to it. I think we're going to be going live there at least a few times a week, talking about what people are doing to maximize their time off, what books they're reading, how they're spending just their time during the day. I challenge people, don't just use this as a time just to watch Netflix for 2 weeks. Get some shit done that you've been wanting to do. Maybe you wanted to clean out your basement for the past 2 years, but you're too busy. Or maybe you want to write a book, start a book. That's what actually I've been doing. I've been working on a second book. It's an idea I've had since last June, and now I got some time to do it. So I've been working on that. But try to find something that's going to move the needle forward for you personally, besides, again, not just sitting around and just kind of watching television or whatever. So we're going to be doing that. So go to the CityFam group page if you want to be part of those discussions or be part of those workouts. I also wanted to talk about CityFam is going to be partnering with my church, Epic. They are doing, I don't have all the details, but I'll post the link as soon as I get off. But they are now collecting items for people that are in need, because obviously people are out of work and people are starting to suffer. And they're going to be collecting these items, and they're going to be distributing them out of the Epic Church offices, which is over there. Actually, they're moving into their new building right off of Holabird. And again, it'll all be at the link that I post. But they're looking for people that can volunteer both in person to give out these items, and they're also looking for people that can answer the phone when people call in, and they're also looking for people that can collect items. So if you're wanting to do any of those things, if you're wanting to give back during this time where maybe you can't go out and volunteer with a group of people, this would be a great way for you to do that. So I'll post more information about that. As far as in-person CityFam events, I don't know when we're going to be doing those again. Hopefully we'll be back next month, but right now I don't think anybody has any answers for how much longer this is going to go on for. But yeah, I'm sure that probably freaked a few people out, but it's the truth. So anyway, cityfam.com. If you haven't joined the fam, join the fam. You'll start getting our emails. eventually we'll be able to plug back in with each other and reconnect in person. But that's it. See y'all.